The Central Asian Report is a program about the ongoing geopolitical trends and the panorama of the present-day realities in Central Asia.
Politics, economics and culture, events, trends and people, all this on one territory. Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report. Coming up, theory and practice of technical colleges of Kazakhstan. Tajik melon growers moved out the watermelon for export. Yogis of Central Asia unite. And coming right up, headlines from Central Asia. In Tajikistan, the poor people can be moved from detached houses to apartments. This is a part of the state initiative for the conservation and effective use of irrigated lands. According to the authors, on a plot of 12 acres, it is possible to accommodate not 2 families, but more than 40, and to put vacant lands into farming business and use for the cultivation of fruits and vegetables, as well as cotton. In the first half of 2016, Kazakhstan experienced decline in oil and gas production, but an increase in the production of gasoline. In particular, the hydrocarbon production decreased by 2.5%, gas condensate nearly by 10%. That way, the Kazakhstan mining sector has responded to the situation on the world fuel market. At the same time, production of gasoline, including aviation fuel, has increased during this period by more than 13.5%, diesel fuel by 10%. A few songs appeared on the internet, but the author and performer of which is the president of Kyrgyzstan, Almazbek Atambayev. The fact that the head of state enjoys songwriting was not a secret for anybody. However, many assume that Almazbek Shashenovich will turn to the poems and notes by the end of his tenure as the president. Meanwhile, the Kyrgyz leader has planned to record 5 more songs in this coming month of August. He will devote a part of his leave for this purpose, and by its 60th anniversary, he will release a music album of his own. Theory and practice. It is easy to teach struggle. Technical colleges of Kazakhstan are gradually moving toward a system of dual education, when the curriculum is more practical training than theoretical. About the advantages of the system and the interim results of its implementation in our next report. Zhenya and Nikita have practical training on a construction site. They're college students. They're studying to be welders. Over 1 year, these young people have already mastered the basics of the profession and try to show off when they can. I can't say I've learned much, but not little. I already knew something. Make seams in the bottom position. For example, I can weld a small fence or something else. In the first year of study, there is practical training, but then more. This is how the system of dual education works. In the 3rd year, children spend 70% of the study in internship. On the same construction site, the finishers, Asiya and Aigerim, try themselves. Today's lesson is one of the last. The girls graduate from college. Both have already received the 4th category. I like this profession, that is why I chose it. Also, due to the high development of the construction in Kazakhstan, I have decided to engage myself with this profession. In fact, the girls are not just graduates, but qualified professionals with some practical experience. Besides, Asiya used it in everyday life. She has recently made repairs at her house. None of this would have happened without systematic practice at the workplace. Students undertake an internship at our company in case of positive practice with positive feedback from trainers, depending on how the student showed himself at the workplace, and of course, if there is a vacancy, we can provide them a job. Dual education in Kazakhstan has appeared only 3 years ago, but is already gaining momentum. In Almaty, 32 of 80 colleges implemented this technology. 44 contracts have been signed with enterprises hosting interns. The National Chamber of Entrepreneurs believes that this work should not just continue, but actively involve consultants from enterprises in the educational process.
Вы прекрасно знаете, что основная
You know very well that the main problem of the educational system is its isolation from the consumer who is an entrepreneur. It is an entrepreneur who knows what specialist he needs and what functional competencies these people must have.
Какими функциональными компетенциями должны обладать эти кадры?
Atamiken proposes to bring the cooperation of colleges and businessmen to a higher level, for example, to allow entrepreneurs to assess students. To do this, the academic industry clusters and certification centers are already being established. The director of the College of Construction and Crafts, Kamal Jamangozov, puts great hopes on them.
Эта площадка позволяет именно ориентироваться под конечного потребителя, под работодателя.
This platform allows us to focus on the end consumer, the employer. Therefore, with SKL in particular, we also want to establish the academic cluster in building specialties together with the employer. We are already in the process of negotiation. In principle, we have already had the first meeting of the working group on the establishment of an academic cluster for the construction industry.
Рабочие группы по созданию учебно-методического кластера для строительной отрасли.
It is no secret that the main issue that concerns all graduates, how to get experience if you can't get a job without experience. Thanks to the dual education, this vicious cycle seems to be broken. A watermelon moved out. In Tajikistan, the shipment of watermelons for export is in full play. This year, the harvest season began on the fields of the Republic for a month earlier, and the farmers hope that more than one harvest will ripen. Watch how this season responded for melon growers and what profit they can expect in the report of our correspondent in Dushanbe.
Нашего собственного корреспондента в Душанбе.
250 kilometers from Dushanbe, Kabadian region. Here, the first watermelons appeared at the end of May. Every day, they are loaded in Kamaz trucks and driven for sale in other regions, the capital and abroad. From 1 hectare, we gather 2 to 3 trucks. One does not load more than 1,500. In this way, it is easy to check up on the weight, and watermelons travel better. They do not spoil and do not crack. This year, the melon season in Tajikistan started a month earlier. Due to the hot and dry weather, the second crop of vegetables and fruits is already ripened for the farmers. Berries ripen quickly. They are very tasty. We have to constantly control so that the sun does not kill them. Fortunately, we are able to monitor, and we have very juicy and sweet watermelons. Mahmadali's farm is one of the best in the region. Even the name is appropriate, Namuna. In Tajik, this means standard. Melons are grown out of 10 hectares. Juicy watermelons and melons are gathered until September. The first harvest has already covered all the cost. Despite the fact that watermelons from the field are 15 cents per kilogram, this year farmers will get a good profit. This watermelon weighs 5 kilograms. A fully ripened berry is actually easier than it might seem by the size. And its sweetness depends only on the sun. The more sun, the sweeter the watermelon. As far back as he can remember, Ramon Ali Safarov has been working in melon fields. The watermelon quality is determined by your eye. If you tap it, the ripened one has a dull sound. And when you squeeze it, you can hear a light crackling. You can also check the water. Unripe, as a rule, it drowns. It is desirable that the watermelon has a small yellow spot. This is the place where it is contacted with the ground and thus ripened itself. But if the spot is big, this means that the fruit is frozen, that is, it did not receive enough sun. When tasting it, it is watery and not very sweet. This year, the farmers have much work, not only because of the rich harvest. While the men are in the field, the women are doing intermediates for the winter. Jam of watermelon, a cure for the common cold, salty slices, garnish for hot dishes. Both pulp and rinds are used. Of them, the syrup is boiled for a few hours and poured over cut pieces in the jars. The harvest is good. We deliver it within the country and ship for export. But there's something still left. That is why we decided to put on conservation. We use mostly shapeless melons, small and curved. Hokim Hashimov is engaged in carving, carves a variety of patterns on fruits and vegetables. His favorite product is a watermelon. It is possible to cut a colorful national ornament or make a sculpture. However, this work is time-consuming and requires you to be careful. One precise movement will damage this composition. The master has to sit for hours on striped berries with a Thai knife in his hand. It is the main tool of the carving master. A watermelon must be clean, dry, and dense. We must take care of the combination of colors. They must be contrasting so that the picture will look beautiful. Hokim Hashimov has many materials for work. About 2,000 hectares of plantations are occupied by watermelons in Tajikistan. They provide sugar berries not only for the domestic market, but also for export to Afghanistan, Pakistan, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. People under the open sky in the dog position. This is not a modern street performance, but a mass yoga class which was held in Almaty within the framework of the international festival Yoga Fest 2016. Our correspondent visited the event, tried a few moves, and is ready to share the details.
Встаньте на носок правой стопы.
That way, yoga fans greet the sun. This massive activity is one of the key ones at the international festival Yoga Fest, which was held in Almaty. Last year, about 5,000 people visited us. This year, we have a two-day festival. We grew up. We have many people wishing to participate. In 2 days, we expect about 10,000 people.
За 2 дня мы ожидаем около 10 тысяч человек.
It is the second time the Yoga Fest is held in the southern capital of Kazakhstan. Its main aim is to get people acquainted with yoga as much as possible. And for professionals, it is a chance to learn from the representatives of different schools. For this purpose, within 2 days from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., master classes, workshops, and shows of sport clubs were held.
Я любитель, я занимаюсь йогой каждый день, больше чем год.
I am a fan. I do yoga every day for more than a year. When I found out that the Yoga Fest is starting, for me it is a good event. This is for a healthy lifestyle. And outside, moreover, in Medeo and Shimbulak.
И на природе, тем более в комплексе Шимбулак, Медео.
The Alpine complex Medeo was chosen as the main festival platform for a good reason. The clean mountain air and the proximity to nature not only created a special atmosphere, but also contributed to greater health benefits from training. By the way, the desire to hold the festival under the open air nearly disappointed the organizers. Because of rain, the event was postponed twice. The real followers of a healthy lifestyle are not afraid of bad weather. Despite the clouds on Medeo, gathered hundreds of participants of the second international yoga festival, Yoga Fest.
Yoga Fest.
For those who worked well on carry mates, the organizers had prepared a vegetarian banquet in the spirit of the festival. I believe that every man, if he loves himself, has to take care of himself and do sports and eat well.
Спортом и правильно питаться.
Those who were not engaged with yoga in the festival rode on skateboards, roller skates, and bicycles. The organizers fairly decided, no matter what the participants do, the main thing is that within the framework of a healthy lifestyle. You are watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.